That obscure object of desire. That obscure object of desire. It's really obscure, so you can't see it. But if you watch the movie, then you probably can. Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to watch a movie where I can come up with another brilliant entrance that apparently, is better than making these stupid songs up. But what am I going to do? Just come up and just start talking about the movie? No. I'm going to be interesting, like other people. Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection Reviewer guy here. Of all the sorts and all the things, yes, I am here today to bring you number 143, Luis Buñuel's That Obscure Object of Desire. Cet obscur objet du désir, which sounds even better, but I guess that doesn't sound too far off from it's like pretty much a straightforward translation in English. Cet obscur objet du désir, obscure object of desire. That's totally straight, So, 1977, 104, French. Oh God, Buñuel. Oh my gosh, this guy right here. This was apparently his last film, and it's oh my God, it's another one of those weird ones. It's almost as weird as was it not Diary of a Chambermaid. That was the one I forgot about. I forgot he did that one, and we've seen that one. Well, I forgot about it because it's pretty unmemorable. But The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. That one was pretty weird and funny, This one is more erotic, more, they got a bit of humor in it. Very surreal humor, a bit of surreal humor too. But let's talk about the film. Alright, so this is the basic plot. So, the star of this is Fernando Rey, who plays, what is his name? He plays, Mathieu Faber. I think he's like a politician, I'm not sure. He's just some French guy his wife passed away. No, I think he's supposed to be Spanish, actually. No, he's actually Spanish. Which is funny because Buñuel is Spanish, all the films he's done so far are all in French. And in fact, Fernando Rey's voice is overdubbed by a guy who can speak French very well, as Michel something or other. Let's just mention his name. Michel Piccoli. And interesting little tip, I didn't really notice it, mainly because I wasn't really watching his lips or anything. I was just, watching the movie. Too busy watching the subtitles to look at the lips. So, so we have Faber. I'm going to just call him Faber, his last name, or try to. He lives, in Spain or Spanish or some Spanish Mexico or something. He's going to go board a train, and he's living in this time of there are a lot of terrorist attacks or car bombings and all kinds of later on there's a factory that explodes and it's all sabotage and all that. So there's a little bit of an underlying terrorism subplot that plays underneath it. It doesn't really build up until the very end of the film. He boards a train, and he shares a compartment with this woman and her daughter, this other guy, this midget who's a psychology professor, and so but as he boards the plane, this woman who's really bandaged up follows him to the train, and with a suitcase and all that, and yells at him, and he gets a bucket of water and dumps it on her head, and she ends up boarding the train with him, and but we see him go into the cabinet, and everybody has already witnessed this act, and so the psychology professor says, I would pay a lot to see, I'd give you anything to see why you do that, why you did that. So basically the majority of the film is a flashback of him telling the story of why he dumped the bucket of water on this woman's head. So it all begins a long time ago. I think it's right after his wife dies or something, and so he's living with his lawyer or something like that, and his maid, whose name is Conchita. He falls for his maid, and he tries to seduce his maid. unsuccessfully at first, but eventually they get together. She like ends up leaving his companionship and she moves back in with her mother, and she's like a flamenco dancer. And when he goes to go visit her, she ends up confessing that she really likes him, and they start a little bit of a relationship. He more or less tries to keep it as erotic as possible, as sexual as possible, but she's not necessarily interested in that. Um, they go on for a bit, and they eventually try to have sex. He tries to have sex with her, and every time he does, she's like she thwarts him away and swats him away and all that, and so he's like he gets more and more frustrated with her because of her denying his advances. At one point, she takes off her top and they get into bed, and he tries to go down and take off her pants, but he feels like this weird thing, and she has like this like chastity like underwear that's like tied up with these like really tight strings because she really doesn't have any interest in like having sex. And so he gets frustrated about that and all that. So I think anyway, I'm a little like trying to remember exactly what happens next. I think what happens next is Conchita and her mother are given 24 hours to leave the country. They're deported, and I think they might be arrested, or they're like they're living in like another like on outside of the country, and so Faber like takes them in, gives Conchita a place of her own, and all of this, and she still can't. They keep breaking up and running into each other. Like I think after the first breakup, he runs into her. She's like a coat check girl, and then she finds her in this other place living with her mother, and then later on they get back together, and she finds out that he finds out that they're going to like she dances at this flamenco club. And he goes and he sees the club, and it's very, he sees what they're kind of dancing, just traditional flamenco stuff, And he asks this friend of Conchita's, like, hey, where's Conchita dancing? And she tells him that she does her own special dancing in another room. And so he finds the room, and he finds out that she's been dancing nude for all these men. And he gets really pissed. He shoos them all away. He gets pissed off at her, and she's like, she's really upset. So she goes back to his place, and she locks him out of her like room, and it's like this open garden area, and it's got like a gate, so he can see her through the gate. And she says that she confesses to him that she hated him. She thinks he's ugly and all that, and so she ends up calling in her lover and having sex with him on the floor right in front of his eyes. And at first he turns away, but he comes back, and she ends up saying that they were playing and all that. And gosh, I'm trying to think what happens next. I think he keeps cutting back to where he's telling the story on the train, but toward the end we see them less and less. And at the end, she eventually comes back, and they get together, and she comes back to his place to return the key, and he slaps the hell out of her for like he beats her something awful. And I don't know. I mean, you kind of like, you don't exactly know how to feel. I mean, because of the situation, I kind of sided with Faber just because, like, she was kind of a bitch to him throughout the movie. I mean, but at the same time, he was kind of in the wrong for always wanting sex. That's kind of a little lechery and all that. So there's that. But yeah, I kind of side with Faber just because, like, I don't know, just the attitude. Her attitude is really kind of sour in certain points of the film. So she gets beaten up, and so she ends up saying, she tries to, confess to him and all that, and they confess that like the guy's not really her lover and blah blah blah. So she ends up going off, and I think that's where we catch up. Somewhere around there is when he keeps the train. So they meet again on the the train, and he ends up like shoving her into like a bathroom stall, and they end up making up again. And so he ends up going to. So when they get off the train, they end up going to like this little like bridesmaid shop, and she sees he gets a kick off of like watching this woman sew, and like I think she pricks her finger, and like I think it's like a bridesmaid's like or a veil or something like that, and it gets bloody, and like she wants to pull him away, and so they pull away and they walk away, and then like right after like there have been all these like warnings about terrorism and bombings, the train station blows up, and that's the end of the movie. Yeah. I mean, if your last film ends with everybody dying, I mean that's kind of that's a little badass, but at the same time it's like I yelled, "What the fuck is that?" You know, I seriously yelled that, and yes, that was. I hope I didn't wake up the neighbors. Yeah, so that's obscure object of desire. Buñuel is weird, surreal, you know, very very humorous, very different, very dialogue is kind of playful at times. Oh, one more thing. And for those of you who've seen the movie, you know what I'm about to say next. There's one more thing that I forgot to mention about this movie. There's one more thing that I forgot to mention about Conchita. Conchita is played by two different actresses throughout the film. What the actual fuck? Give me a second. Okay. First of all, I've never seen this before. I mean, I've seen TV shows where, you know, an actress gets replaced, or actor or actress gets halfway through a season, or after a season, character goes on, but a person gets replaced, you know, actor gets replaced. But multiple times throughout one movie? Okay, so I don't know who is who. The first one you see is a woman named Carole Bouquet, who's like this French woman. She's really, really attractive. Like, oh my god. When I saw her first come in, I was like, that's Conchita. That's gotta be Conchita. You know, and at first I wasn't sure because, like, I didn't know the relationship. But then I realized it was flashback, and I was like, oh, okay. And you see Conchita, you know, as the maid and all that. And then you see him flirting with her, and then he cuts back to I think they cut back to the train. Cuts back, he's still flirting with her, but it's a whole other actress, and you're like, what? And this happens, you know, multiple times throughout the film. We see Conchita be played by Carole Bouquet, who's French, and then Angela Molina, who's Spanish. And I think a lot of that plays into Conchita's personality. Most of Carole's scenes are very Conchita's very quiet, very reserved, very you know, very like not very forceful. But Angela's scenes are those are the ones where she pretty much tells Fabier off. You know, like, you know, when she has sex with her lover, and when Fabier beats Conchita, he beats Angela Molina and not Carole Bouquet. Most of Bouquet's scenes are just, you know, her being very seductive. I think a lot more seductive or sensual versus sexuality. But yeah, Angela Molina screams sexuality versus it. In fact, yeah, like you know, all the topless scenes or all the nude scenes at the bar, the dancing, are Angela. And yeah, I think it has to do with sexuality and the different actresses. So yeah, I think a lot of people love that, and I just wish I could see more of Carole Bouquet, because I mean, compared to Angela Molina, I think she just, I don't know, didn't work for me. And I know you're gonna hate me for this, but yeah, there you are. The two actress thing didn't work for me, so that's that. We're already at 15 minutes, so let's wrap this up. Rating C+. Yeah, I said it, C+. It's not a horrible movie, but the two actress thing screwed me over, and the ending is just what? Why? What? Why? So C+. Sorry. I'm not sure. I think we've got a couple more Buñuel movies, but yeah, right now I think my favorite is still Street Charm of the Bourgeoisie. I think I give that one a little bit of a higher rating than C+. So, but at the same time, I probably like this. I like this one, I think, a little more than Diary of a Chambermaid. I don't remember where I rated that one, so I think I gave it a higher rating because because it was just a movie. But I don't know. Maybe because it affected me, or because I didn't like it, then I have to give it a rating. But I don't know. So yeah, C+. Sorry. There you are. Would I recommend it? Nah, you don't have to watch this one. Supplements, special features. Video interview with screenwriter Jean-Claude Carrière, 18 minutes. There was a little bit about him on, I think, the Diary of a Chambermaid DVD. I remember seeing his face. And then it's really interesting. The movie is based on a book called by Pierre Louis called La Femme en la Pantin, and before That Obscure Object of Desire, there was a silent film in 1929, like strictly based on the film called La Femme, strictly based on the book called La Femme en la Pantin, and Criterion gives you a couple scenes of the film, and they say, oh, okay, this movie, this scene corresponds to this scene in the Obscure Object of Desire. And it's cool to see the contrast, the original film is a lot more dramatic. It's very, of course, because it's a silent film. It's very pretty daring, pretty violent, beatings and all that. It's very, very dramatic, yes. And then they actually have text from the book where the scenes correspond, so you can read the text. And that's actually mentioned how Buñuel actually takes a lot from the book, verbatim, a lot of the dialogue, which is cool. I think that's really cool. A line that Conchita says after she has sex with her lover. It's like, my guitar is mine. No one else can play it. Or something like, no one else can tune it, or something like that. That was in the book too. So that Buñuel took a lot from the book and put it right in. That's kind of cool. That's a nice little touch. So I'll give him that. But yeah, that's the supplements are much more interesting than the actual film. One of those instances. So That Obscure Object of Desire, C+. Boom, done. Blah. So that's it for me. That's it for me till Sunday. We ain't got time for. I don't have time for the rock supplements, so we'll probably do that maybe next week. I don't know, whatever. Next week we will do probably Sunday. We will do. We got two Milos Forman movies coming up. Loves of a Blonde and The Fireman's Ball. Loves of a Blonde we will do probably Sunday. Fireman's Ball probably Monday. We might actually do both Monday. I'm not sure, because Sunday is getting to be a little packed for me. So, but they're both really short, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do this right now. Either one Sunday and one Monday, or both Monday, or maybe one Monday and one Tuesday too, because I'll have a lot of time on Tuesday too. So we may take Sunday off altogether. Not sure, or maybe I'll have a time. Maybe I'll do the supplements for the Rock On Sunday, just to give you a little something. But yeah, that's it. So that's that. And then the Cranes Are Flying, I haven't put a hold on, because I know I won't be able to get to that till probably next week, till I think the 22nd, or yeah, the week of the 22nd, 23rd. So we'll get to that one. I think the Cranes Are Flying, In the Mood for Love, and Juliet of the Spirits in the next 3, I think, after that. I'm not sure. But you'll find out. Well, I'll confirm and let you guys know. Or you can just look on Criterion.com and find out, or Wikipedia or whatever. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Don't let two actresses play the same part in one movie. no matter how artistic you think it friggin' is. Don't just keep asking for sex, especially if you're a dirty old man. And don't beat up women. And don't dance naked for men, too. Don't do that. And don't dump water on people. And don't get blown up by terrorist bombs. That's probably the most important one. Don't get blown up by terrorist bombs. That's our ace moral today. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on Sunday or Monday for Loves of a Blonde and possibly The Fireman's Ball. Until then, goodbye.